Hey everybody, this is the Drewsperience, the show that's 80% combat sports and 20% everything else. Make sure to hit the like, share, subscribe, comment button. The more you do it, the more we're growing the community. It's a fast-growing community, and it's to show why combat sports is the global sport. My guest tonight, oh boy, I love it when I get professional fighters on. Weighing in at 155 pounds, he's a BJJ practitioner, a black belt, fighting out of Los Angeles, California. He is the one, the only, Victor Silverio. Welcome to the show, Victor.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate it.
No problem. Was it a good entry?
That was awesome. It got me pumped up.
That's what I want. The goal is to always make my guests feel like they matter. It's like, because they're taking time out of their day, and you can make money, but you can never get time back. So it's important to make people you're with feel valued.
I agree with you. Like, time is the number one.
Very true. So Victor, I really have to thank Nima for doing this, your manager, because I love Nima. He's like a friend and a mentor to me. And anytime I get a professional fighter on, it's a big deal, because it means that like I can learn about them and separate them from human. So I always love to start off the show before BJJ and before stepping into MMA. Who was Victor Silverio growing up, and what led to martial arts over other sports?
I guess like when I was growing up, I was always like into sports, maybe not fighting specifically, but it was like I grew up like playing soccer, like since I knew how to walk. That was like my biggest passion. I was like a fanatic. And like not only playing but also watching. I was like fanatic for my team. Like I would like cry for my team to lose, so I had this relationship with like sports like since I was like young. And kind of like learned from my dad. He's also like, he's crazy about soccer. But I ended up like cheering for the opposite, like the right. That's probably the thing that made my dad most upset on his life. So then I grew up like playing soccer, and then I'm start like doing like some skateboard. I was never like great at it, but like I like to do every day, or something that I was like really into it. I wanted to surf, but I used to live kind of like far from the beach. It was like hard to do it, so I kind of went more for like skateboarding. And then maybe around like 15, when I was around 15, I started like training jiu-jitsu. Yeah, so it's like young. Yeah.
Interesting. So 15 is when you were bitten by the martial arts bug.
Yes. Okay. To be honest, like, to be fair, like, yes, the martial arts, yes, but like fighting, I was always in trouble when I was a kid. Yeah, like, I don't know, just I think it's kind of common in Brazil. You can say that.
It seems to be, because it's very nice weather, so it's easy for everybody to want to be outside, running around, moving around. And growing up in Brazil, what city were you from, and what was your childhood like growing up in Brazil?
I'm from Rio, so it's like a very like warm city. Like, everybody's cool, everybody's nice, and it's like I grew up like not in the like most like known area from people that outside of Brazil. So like people kind of like see Rio as like this place with like all these beaches and some favelas too. But like, grew up kind of like in the suburban area, like kind of like far from the beach, surrounded by those favelas. So, but honestly, like, I was always like pretty comfortable. My dad had a good job, and like he supported our family. My family was like pretty tight. My mom was like the reason of her life was like me and my sister, so I grew up like from like a loving family. You can say that.
That's amazing. That's the most important thing. If you have a family that's always supporting what you do, even if you quit it and start something new, and they have you and you have their support, you're golden.
Yes, that's true. I think for my parents, it was kind of hard to like, in the beginning when I started like martial arts, was kind of hard for them, kind of like defer, the fighting aspect of me trouble, like in fighting, like against someone in the street, and making different than like actually fighting someone like professional or like in a competition where you have rules and like you train for it. So it's like in the beginning it was kind of like hard for them to support, like full support, like no, go for it. But like they also never like, as soon as they understood that that was like my dream, was something that I like had in my heart, they kind of like, okay, go for it, kind of.
That's interesting. So when you started taking martial arts, it wasn't for the fighting. It was for developing new habits, better control over the aggression, or staying out of trouble. Did you notice that when you were taking martial arts, did it help you improve academically in terms of maybe focusing, or just maybe how you conducted yourself as a person outside of the academy?
To be honest, like in the beginning, it was I wanted to learn how to fight, like properly, and I wasn't really like so much about like going, because it was a decision that came from me, like it wasn't like my parents were putting in a martial arts school like as a kid and like, okay, so you gotta the martial arts is good for kids, but in my mind at that time I didn't understand how good it would be for my character too, and I didn't know, like my reason was like I wanted to learn how to fight, and then I went. It was fun. It was like with my friends, and like I felt good, like just like learning new things and like more confident that I could be able to defend myself. And yeah.
That's really good, man. That's understandable. And yeah, we all go in wanting to fight because we watched a movie or we saw TV, or we just want to like learn how to fight because maybe you want to one up your neighborhood bully or whatnot. So my next question is, when you got into martial arts, did you have any influences, like say in movies, or that were already in like other martial arts in Brazil, since Brazil is a martial arts hotspot?
Oh yes. I would say that I used to. It's hard to say because like it was like so many influence, but like I think the first reason, like the main reason that I started like MMA was because I wanted to learn, like how to defend myself, especially around like kids that were like younger, like sometimes like 4 years older than me, not younger, older. So they're like bigger, and like of course if I was in a fight with them, I would get beat up. So that would happen all the time. So I'm like, I fucking need to learn how to defend myself. Yeah, but like like fighting is like popular in Brazil. It became more popular as I grew up, but at that time it was already popular. Like you had like Vitor Belfort like fighting at that time, like, and then I feel like Vitor Belfort were like not even Royce Gracie at the time. I kind of like knew about him later, but Vitor Belfort was a guy like in Brazil that he was known more in the general public, like regular people, they would know like about him. But so that would bring attention, like, so you kind of like start watching, and then you start like learning about different fighters, but also like Van Damme, like guys like this, like they've like very very famous at that time too. So I think it's a little bit of everything.
That makes sense. Now, taking it back to the Vitor part, because I really think that is very true what you said about Vitor Belfort, because when he came in to the sport, it was unlike anything. Like I say, he was the John Jones of his time because nobody could stop him. What was the first Vitor fight you watched that made you go, "Wow, this guy's special"?
I honestly like it wasn't really a fight, but that was like this highlight. That was like one of the songs that I liked. So like I'm like I like this song, and the song was like just like the whole video is just like him like beating people up, and I remember like clearly this guy. I don't remember exactly where's the guy's name, but was this like really big guy, like bald guy, like really really big. Like he was clearly like way heavier than him. So I'm like, there's no guy can beat up this guy, and Vitor was just like like rag dog him, like the guy had no chance.
It's like because Vitor had some of the best hands I think in MMA history, even though like it's a different sport as it always evolves, but back then, like when one of those punches hit you and he knew he hit you, it was game over.
Yeah, I agree. Like he was really fast, like really precise, like very strong guy.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever he was like on, like mentally, like it was hard because it's like this, like he will hit you and then it's gonna hurt. But like what I believe it happened like sometimes that like he would hit some guys and he wouldn't knock those guys out and the guys are like start like, oh, no, I'm still here. And then he couldn't deal with that. Like he didn't know how to deal with like when he was like super aggressive, it put everything out there. But then the guy had an actual like solid defense, and he like he's like, oh, okay, so what do I do now? So like most of his losses like kind of like that.
Mm-hmm. It's very, very true. Now, you're Brazilian, coming from Brazil. He's Brazilian.
Yeah,
And this is something I want to ask you, being from Brazil. So, when a lot of Brazilian stars come over, they're very known in Brazil, but when they
yeah.
come to North America, they do have this. There seems to be an issue with them wanting to adapt to learning English, and you look at like Anderson Silva did not speak a word of English until much later in his career. Vitor already spoke fluent English. And now the current lightweight champion, Charles Do Bronx Oliveira, has a translator. Do you believe that if you're a Brazilian star and, you win a belt and you're in America, do you think there's a benefit to learning the language to help market your brand?
Um, definitely. Like, I mean, for sure, 100% it does. Like financially, like speaking, that's like, um, you know, essential. Like you need to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like I also understand this kind of like a feeling like I'm Brazilian, man. Like I don't have to speak English. You know what I mean? Like kind of like
Mm-hmm.
I speak my language. You don't learn my language. But like, so I kind of understand both ways. Like I
Mm-hmm.
understand that me myself, like I came here, I was looking for a better life. I was not a fighter that was making like millions of dollars. So, you know, I I came from jiu-jitsu, and then like my goal is to come here, like a lot of jiu-jitsu guys will open a school, teach, like and like, do privates. And I needed to learn English. Like I needed to like learn like how to communicate with people. If you're a
Mm-hmm.
teacher, you can't give a good class if you don't understand what these people are,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And it's not only like the language itself, but like also the culture, like to understand like the way that they thinking and why they're thinking, why they're asking what they're asking. So it's like for me, like I believe it's important. Like it's like like most of the fights are in the US. Like a lot of fans are from the US. Like, so why not? Like why can't you like speak to your people, to Brazilians in Portuguese, and speak to Americans, and not only Americans, but like to the world, like, to a lot of people that speak English, not to the world, because a lot of people don't, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's very true. And for me, I think what goes a long ways. If I'm a pro fighter and I'm fighting in, say, Brazil, I'll try to ask, like, there's people that are willing to help always, that you could ask and that I could ask and say, hey, I need some phrases just to win the hearts of the crowd. Or if I go to Russia, well, I mean, Russia's a
Yeah,
bit of a controversial country right now, but we're not going to talk about that. But let's say if I go to Russia to fight, I'm going
yeah,
to ask the PR people that work for the promotion in Russia, give me some words to say. I might not get it right, but it's to show the people that I'm willing to speak their language after my fight, or so forth.
why not? Like, why not? Why can't? It's like, how long is it gonna take for you to learn like a couple words, like to just like make people feel more like related to you? Like, how, you know what I mean? With, you don't need to like say like things that you don't mean, but like sometimes people just see the by the way that you act. Like you don't have to say, like, to have like uh like a phrase that you're gonna tell them, like, but like if they see that it's fake, they're not gonna like you because of that. They will like
Mm-hmm.
you because you do things that like it's actually like as that shows respect to them. And that, just like I would say, like learning like a couple words, like why not?
For example, yeah. For example, it's like I might not say, if I go to Brazil, I'm gonna say, hey, I don't speak Portuguese well, but I'm just gonna say parabéns for coming to watch, basically. So I hope you guys appreciate that, like something like that, to show that, look, you're making an effort, and that's going to bring when many, I think it's the small gestures that win more hearts.
I agree. Like if you actually put in an effort to like get closer to the people, you know what I mean? Like, and we see that, like, we're humans, like we know how we act, you know, like how we interact too. Like, so we see this like right away. That's one of the skills that sometimes like we think like some people have, some people don't. But I feel like if you really have your eyes open, everybody has it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
very true, very true. So my next question is, that was an interesting, such an interesting way of like learning about how to brand yourself, especially when you're fighting or you move to a new country. So you come to America, you lived in Brazil and you came to America, you come first to Florida and then you come to LA. What was the reason to come to Florida first? And then eventually what led you to LA?
I think like to go to Florida was because Florida was a place that it's kind of close to Brazil, and I was still you know um like so connected to Brazil, like in a way that it's like it's a little different now, you know. Like, it's like I needed to, like, in my mind I would have to come to Brazil like all the time. But maybe I don't know, maybe I didn't like really understood at the time like how much I still wanted to be like an athlete and be a world champion, like, and try to be like the best in jiu-jitsu at the time. And Florida wasn't the right place. I had good training there. Like I trained Gilbert Burns. Like we trained for like a long time, like for like maybe 2 years. Yeah, the time that I was there.
Wow.
Yeah, we used to train like every week. So he was already doing MMA, but he was always like active in jiu-jitsu. He was always competing, in jiu-jitsu. So we became good friends. And AJ Souza, Mikey Musumeci, like he used to come to like every week. It was a good training, but like it was just not enough like for me to become a world champion, because I needed that every day. Like I need these guys here every day, and they were doing something else. Like Mikey needed to go somewhere, and Durinho, he needed to focus on MMA. He was coming, he was really helpful, but like he had different goals, so most of the just me and AJ Souza, which was like the one that I was closer to, and he was also trying to do the same thing.
So you were training at what was known as the Blackzilians, eventually becoming Hard Knocks, and now Sanford, right?
No, so Durinho was coming to the place that I was teaching at GFT. GFT Florida was the place I was teaching. It was just like a place, so he was gonna come, he was coming. And at one point I remember going to like Blackzilians, like before I started teaching, like as soon as I got to Florida, I trained there like maybe like for 1 week or 2 weeks, because I already had the desire to like train, to train MMA. But I felt like that was not the time yet, and I kind of like backed down a little bit and focused on jiu-jitsu, because it was just like this. Like for me, I always had the desire to do MMA. Like I wanted to do MMA. That's what I started. Like the reason why I started jiu-jitsu was because I wanted to do MMA. I was watching guys fighting the UFC in the first UFCs, and I wanted to do that. Like I was like, man, honestly, like one thing would make me like really like I remember like making me really like thinking, no, I really want this, was to like watch some of those guys' highlights with the music that I liked it. And I'm like, man, I really want to be one of those highlights. And like, I want to be one of those guys. And,
nice.
But then I focused on jiu-jitsu. Like it was a good thing, because I always had that thing that like I needed to get my black belt before I went to MMA. And then when I got my black belt, I had that feeling like, no, I need to be a world champion before I go to MMA. So it's like, it's always like coming a little closer, but it's not easy. Like to become a world champion, it's like you figure it out or you don't, like, so it's like, until you figure it out, it takes time sometimes. And I honestly felt like I did, like, I felt like I was about to, because, when I started training here in California with Romulo, I felt like I was more mature to have like someone with such influence, like maybe before I did have people that were like like people that can influence me in a way that was like very positive, but I was a little like stubborn, like a little close-minded, you know, and maybe I didn't get from them enough to like evolve me, you know.
That's
But
interesting.
yeah, but then with Romulo, like it's like I was open, like I was ready, like it was in a time that I was ready to be open to like learn from someone that was like wiser, you know. So
Yeah.
I really fucking learned, like I really learned the way, like, and I got a lot better, you know.
That's awesome. Florida is such a hot spot too, because you had the American Top Team, you have the Blackzilians. There was like your gym. There was Cesar Canero of MMA Masters, and it's just amazing how Florida and California are basically the fight capitals of the world now.
It is funny. I don't know why though. Like but like I remember like since I know about MMA, I always remember ATT being there and like and a little after Blackzilians, which is
Mhm.
like a lot of guys from Blackzilians came from ATT or something like that. I don't know, but yeah, and it's like California. I don't know. I feel like California has a lot to do because the I don't know, maybe that too. The interest of um of Brazilians in jiu-jitsu, so Brazilians in California. So a lot of times in the beginning when jiu-jitsu guys they come to California. So it started developing this like MMA culture from the
Mhm.
beginning, like at that time but also like there was a lot of guys at the time too. Like I think that they live here in California.
Mhm.
Isn't didn't Marco Ruas used to live in California too? I don't remember. I don't know.
I know there's Marco Juarez. I believe there was what's his face, heavyweight Brazilian, fought Randy Couture, and he had like the craziest kicks. Heavyweight.
Pedro
You
Rizzo.
That's it, Pedro. Dude, have Pedro
Yeah.
Hizo. That I watch that video sometimes of like
Yeah.
when of like someone you should not take a leg kick from, like not even for sparring. He just kicks the
For real.
guy to the other side of the
For
room.
real. That's no block. Like it doesn't matter what it do. It's not gonna. You're not gonna stop it.
That thing's coming at you, like that thing comes at you as if that light comes at you as if it was a speeding Mack truck on full speed. It's not going to end well for you.
That's true. That's true. Pedro Rizzo is like heavy. It's like, of course, and it's a lot of technique too. So like, it's like a mix of both, like the technique and like and
Mhm.
the weight of his leg. I don't know. If you can see that, it's like, man, that shit that doesn't sound fun.
No, no. When you hear that, when you just hear that, bam, and it's just like, ooh, it's like you can't even look.
Like fuck that.
I'd say, hey man, it's like I'm putting in the towel for the day. I'm not sparring with that guy. It's like you better find someone his size. Basically, that's crazy. So you go to California, and obviously California is a BJJ hotbed. So much of grappling, and because of the Gracie influence amongst other schools, and then there's also San Francisco's got a very big like Taekwondo and traditional martial arts scene, but now BJJ too because of the Stockton influence. So you come to California. What was the goal event and what was the main aim for California, and how long did you want to achieve it? And once you got there,
Um, the main goal is to be like to become world champion jiu-jitsu. That's why I came here for. Like I wasn't thinking about
mm-hmm.
MMA at all at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was not even crossing my mind. Because honestly, like if at that time I had in my heart that I wanted to do MMA, I was gonna stay in Florida because I knew how good that place was. You know, like when I trained at Blackzilians, like the reason that I didn't keep going there wasn't because I didn't like that was because I was going to jujitsu, you know, like, and I was focused on jujitsu. But I actually liked the training there. Like the training was good. The people, they were cool, you know. Like of course, like it's like in an MMA room, so like everybody's kind of like, you know, like closed a little bit until you can actually, you know, meet them and everybody's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, California. The reason was because I wanted to become a world champion, and at that time, Romulo, he had like a lot of guys that like top guys, like Gabriel Arges, which was the number one middleweight, and in the time Edwin Najmi, he was like one of the best lightweights too. So, but not only that, like everybody had a champion, like every coach had a champion, but like the thing that I liked to him also, it's like the relationship he had with the students, you know, like, and I felt like I could learn from him as a person too, you know. So it was the reason that I chose you know, to move here pretty much.
And you know, you were able to do that. You know, you're very decorated in terms of your BJJ accreditations. Like when I was doing my research, so because then I was like, whoa, this guy it's legit. It's like it's extreme. So very. It's like it's my source was BJJ Heroes, by the way. So it's like I look at your achievements. First place, IBJJF American Nationals 2016. First place, Las Vegas Summer Open. First place, Nogi Open 2018. First place, Boston Spring. It's like what was the most rewarding tournament from you remember? Which one? When I name those off, which one was the most memorable in your experience?
It's funny because like I came from a place that it's like very competitive. Like there's a lot of guys that are world champions, like that they win IBJJF World Championship, which is the number one tournament in the world, you know, in jiu-jitsu. If you compete in a gi, that's the tournament you want to win. And at that time, I felt like it was even more because there were not like all these like super fights and like different like focus. Your focus was like only on that, like on becoming a world champion in IBJJF. So it's funny because like I didn't become IBJJF world champion, and then in my mind, like thinking through my whole life, that was something that like for me to succeed in this, I needed to become a IBJJF world champion because my influence was they were thinking the same thing, you know, like they're like, okay, it's okay, you got second at IBJJF Worlds, but like that doesn't mean shit. You know what I mean? Like that's what we like think at the time. But now that I'm like more like, okay, maybe like open more your mind for like what that actually means, like, and I can see like how much that was, you know, like now I can see like, man, like you actually want you got to a point that you actually one of the best guys in the world, like in a division doing this, like, which is like, there's no joke. Like if just because you didn't win doesn't mean anything. You know what I mean? Like wars is like, sometimes it's like, there's so many guys that like, they can be like, this guy can beat this other guy. And it's like 4 or 5 fights. So many things can happen, you know, like if you're in your day, like, yeah, yes, but like so many things can happen through the, you know, through the gold medal. So now I can see more of that, like as more like as of experience. And like, I don't know, like maybe I would say the most memorable one was like this, when I was a blue belt, maybe I was like 16, I think I was like 16 years old. And I won this Abu Dhabi trial, which was my first tournament, like that I was gonna go out of the country.
Wow.
Yeah. So like as a kid, like that was like insane for me. Like I was like, whoa, I'm really doing this, you know, like I really want to do this for my life. That was like understanding that like I really want to do this, you know.
That's awesome, man. It's crazy. And I think it's those like tournaments, like whether you win or lose, it's the experience and the relationships you form. Because sometimes like you dominate a guy, and you know it's just like for competition, and you just have a beer after. And that's the thing, that's the brotherhood that jiu-jitsu has. It's the sense of community. Like after you go toe to toe with like some of the toughest matches, where the guy could submit you within like snap of a finger, but then after that you're having a beer with him and or meal, and it's crazy. Is that something that you think that is what makes BJJ as amazing as it is for the community?
I think so, because I feel like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is something that like we really praise like certain things like that, you know, like not just the fighting aspect of like the technique, but we care for like, you know, like a lot from the graces. Like we care like how we're gonna carry ourselves, like what we're doing for the people like around us, like how we show respect and like things like that, you know. And and besides that, that's something that I believe. Like I believe that like you should respect, like, if it's another human being like that is respecting you, you should respect him. And you're both fighting, like, and it's okay. Like, when you're fighting, like, man, like, that guy's not my friend. Maybe he's not my enemy, but that guy is definitely not my friend. Like, I'm like, I want nothing like close to him right now. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. We close that window, we're gonna fight. But then after, it's like that window opens again, and then we can, you know, actually say to each other what we think, you know, and then we see if we like each other or not, and then we decide.
Exactly. Very, very true. So, and BJJ, obviously, you know, now it's Dom, like, you know, we were, when we were talking, getting to know each other, we both agreed that we both really enjoy watching Hodger Gracie, or enjoyed, because he's now retired and he just teaches. What are your thoughts on the Danaher Death Squad, or like now the former Danaher Death Squad, like with Gordon Ryan and amongst say Nicky Rodriguez? Like, do you feel that those guys are the next big thing, or not next, but do you think they are the best right now in BJJ, or do you feel there's maybe some other talents that people aren't paying attention to?
I do believe there are other talents that people are not paying attention to as much, or maybe they just didn't look deep enough into it. But I do believe there are other people, but like, at the same time, I do believe that they are one of the best too. And like, they figure out ways to, like, in jiu-jitsu, like, they really like made a revolution in jiu-jitsu, you know. 1 second.
It's okay, don't worry.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect.
Like, they really did a revolution, like, in the way that people think about jiu-jitsu, and how like more marketable jiu-jitsu became, you know. Like, there are more people knowing about jiu-jitsu, especially here in the United States, you know. I wouldn't say especially here, I feel like around the world, actually. And that also, like, connected to, like, some American shows like Eddie Bravo, like the way that the show is, it's like entertaining, you know. Like, it's like, it's kind of like, for people that don't know about it, like, you always have a submission, and it's like, okay, at least I'm gonna see a submission. It's not like some points or advantage that I like, not even the black belts understand how someone that doesn't even like do jiu-jitsu will understand. So, like, this connected to that, I feel like got them to the point that they are right now. And with, like, John, like, the guy's fucking genius, right? Like, and he's not only that, like, he really, like, dedicates himself, like, to martial arts, like, to learning martial arts, to, like, learning about the techniques and understanding, like techniques, and understanding the way the other athletes are thinking, and how people are thinking, like, and connecting things to, you know, one thing to the other. And one thing too, like, I believe that made them rise very fast, it was there were people, like, that were, like, attacking, like, heel hooks and legs, stuff like that before, but there were not like a whole group of people that were doing that. You know what I mean? Like this group, like, they all do that. So, like, okay, if you train in the gym, that one guy is really good at heel hooks, like, okay, maybe you can get good at it, like, and the people that, like, are getting caught, they learn how to defend, but that's gonna be about it. Like, that's it. Like, that's nothing else. But, like, if you have a group of people that actually know how to attack and know how to defend, and they're developing techniques in between each other, in that way, like, you're just gonna have something that is like, it's like way fucking faster. Like, it's just like happening in a speed that it's you know, like, unmatchable. And, you know, in a room like that, you're always gonna have the guys that are the best. Like, you have the guys that are the best in the room, like, and which is Gordon Ryan, which is a guy that I believe he's the best, like, because he seems to be really dedicated to it. Like, he trains a lot, and like Gary Tono, or, like, you know, but there are a lot of people that do the same, like Felipe Pena, for example, like, and I'm not even gonna get too much into, like, the fact that he already beat Gordon twice, because that was a long time ago, and I do believe Gordon got a lot better, but I also do believe that Felipe got a lot better too. Like, and I think he's the next time that they fight, it's gonna be interesting. I think, you know, Felipe is gonna show a lot of things that maybe he's not expecting.
Awesome. That's awesome. So next question I have now is now something that like, we've been wanting to wait for. So Victor, obviously people, they're going to watch this, like they know you're a BJJ guy, but you're also making your day. You're also putting your hat into pro fighting. So what is the announcement you want to make? Because I think this should come out of your mouth, not mine.
Okay. Yes, I'll be fighting for CFFC on April 15th in New Jersey, in Atlantic City. So I'm fighting Isaac. I think that's his name.
It's okay. You don't have to say the opponent's name. It's not. It shows about you. So it's yeah.
But like, yeah, I think that's his name. But whatever.
Awesome. How do you feel? It's like your first pro fight. And what has the training been like so far?
My second fight. Actually.
Yes, that's true. I saw that. Yeah. Typo on my side. My bad. I'm sorry. I stand corrected. He's 1-0 already. So how's it feel? What's the mood going into with the goal of going 2-0? And what's the training been like?
Honestly, like I'll be honest, I do feel like that this fight, this show, it's more challenging than the show that I did my first. So yeah, I do have a little bit of a feeling that it's my first fight, but I did have the experience before. But like right now, I'm getting ready. Like I'm gonna fight someone that is a UFC champion. So like, and I know what it takes. Like to I trained with some guys that like they've been like fighting for the title. Like some of the guys actually fought, like got the title. You know what I mean? Like the gym that I'm from. Like I feel like the experience, it's like calming me down. Like I know like what I can see. You know.
That's awesome. It's very good to hear. So so at least the challenge is something that you embrace. And are we what's for the nutrition when you're going into a fight? What is the kind of nutrition you have going in? Because some fighters have those weird genetics where they can eat whatever they want and they'll be fine. They'll make the cut. But when you're preparing, what is your nutrition like going into any fight, even if it was for BJJ?
Well, I try to. Actually, right now it's like tomorrow is the day that my diet starts like a little tighter, which sucks. It's just like I feel like I kind of know like my body, like, and know like how much how much less I should eat, from the same food, like because I really been like I have like a very I mean I believe I have a healthy diet. Like I eat like a lot of fruits. I eat like I take my supplements, like all these vitamins, and like I eat a lot of green, so I do feel like I really have like a good diet, but like I eat a lot, so that can be a problem. And well, first I eat a lot, and two, I like to eat bad in the weekends. So it's like I eat a lot. I eat bad in the weekends, and I like chocolate. So those are the things that I needed to correct right away. Eating bad in the weekend and chocolate was like something that I need to do a little before. But now it got to the point like, okay, I've been having like a healthy like diet from like for some time now, since I decided to like focus on the fight. And now it's like more like portion, so. But it's just like gradually, because I'm in a pretty good way, like for my division. It's like the guys that I train, like I'm always in shape. That's the thing. I never allow myself to be like in a way that it's like over than what I'm supposed to, because I don't want to like, okay, so now you have a fight. I'm in a point that I'm not in the UFC yet. So anytime a fight can happen. So like, and I'm ready to fight next week. It's like if I need to fight next week, yes, I will fight next week, because that's what I was waiting for, because it was like something, CFFC was like something that, okay, like now I have a contract, now it's different. But before that, you kind of like accept whatever comes,
Very true. So now I want to ask something about the CFFC contract you mentioned there. So I'm just going to ask, with now that you're in the CFFC, what is the end goal? Like, what do you hope to accomplish with FFC, and if get some good wins under your belt, which promotions are you looking at to get signed by, like in the big leagues?
Um, I honestly like, I don't know, like I feel like I've been dealing with this to really like, the doubt of like really saying what I'm thinking, and what I'm thinking, like I want to be the champion of this CFFC, like, and I can do that in 3 fights, and I hope I can do in 3 fights. So let's see my next fight. I want to, I'm actually excited to see what's going to be all of that, like all this training, like just like training, like I do feel like I got to, you know, um, um, points in my life that it's like very fucking deep, like very intense because of training, like the way that I've been training. So I'm excited to see that, like, and see like what's gonna be. So I do believe, like, based on my training, like in my mind, and if I, you know, if I'm like in the zone, like I pretend to be, I can be the CFFC champion by the end of the year, and I want to be in the UFC. I want to be in the UFC. That's my goal. I want to be UFC champion.
Awesome. It's an amazing goal to have. And yeah, everybody wants to end up in the UFC. That's like that's the Super Bowl of mixed martial arts. Nothing wrong with the other promotions. I mean, I'm pro fighter. I'm not pro promotion, because I always have this debate now. Like, if you really understand pro fighting and you watch the promotions carefully, you become just more pro fighter. Like, you just want them to go to any promotion where they can make the most money for themselves, and then hopefully, use that money to pursue other goals for after. So obviously you said one UFC, but ONE FC, Asia's largest mixed martial arts promotion, has BJJ fighting now. And I wanted to know if you were aware, obviously I'm sure you knew, but I want to know what your thoughts are on this new model, that maybe if Asia's doing it, maybe North America could do it, and that could help monetize BJJ more.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I do have a lot of respect for ONE FC. Well, I'll say ONE FC first, because like I do have respect for them, because they really like value like the martial arts side of it, like, and that's something that makes me like, maybe like question myself, would I go and fight there? And I'll definitely fight there, like if that was part of my plans, like, like ONE FC is a great show, and like, and I feel like they pay good. The athletes, they have good exposure for them, and now they have jiu-jitsu. But I don't know, like I'm 30 years old, like I turned 30 last year. I'm gonna be 31 this year, so I want to make it. I'm not in a rush, but I need to make this in the next 2 years. I want to be in the next 2 years. I want to be, in the top of my division in the world.
Okay, understood. Very good.
So ONE FC, they have great fighters, and like, and I could, if I was like maybe 23 or maybe I was 24, I could fight there for like 3-4 years, and maybe then get to the UFC, like, if to fight, or maybe like by that time, maybe the ONE FC will have some of the best fighters in the world. Who knows? And but like in the next 2 years, I don't know, like in the next 2 years, it's like, that's my main goal. Like I want to become the best fighter in the world.
No, it makes total sense, and I understand, and that's great. But you have a window, and that's amazing. And as long as you pursue your goal, you just got to enjoy it, man. You just got to enjoy it. We all put the pressure on us, but I think you're in good hands. You have a very good team behind you, and it's just to make those moments, as the name of the agency is. And it must be very exciting, with what these next 2 years have in store for you.
Yeah, and Nemo was the guy that my manager who got me the TFFC contract. Like he's been working hard for, like I've seen like him working hard to, find me the right place to go, because a place that can, match my dreams and my plan. And like he's been working with some guys that like Gustafsson, guys that I'm like, man, I was still like doing jiu-jitsu, not even thinking about doing MMA. Like this guy was like fighting John Jones, you know what I mean? Like a legend. And Musasi's like, I don't know, I believe he's like, right now, right now at this moment in MMA, he might be he could probably be the toughest challenge for Adesanya in his division.
I
You know,
agree. Even with what about Pereira? What's your thoughts on Alex Pereira, the Potan
wow,
from your country?
that guy is a fucking savage, man. That guy is like, you can see that he's still feeling comfortable. Like he's still like learning the how to like act in the UFC. He's still in a period of like adaptation. You know, like he's not like how he is in Glory, because he's not a guy that's just gonna go out there and like and you know, he's smart. Like he's like look, like he's like seeing everything. So I feel like he's gonna be trouble. Like he's gonna be like I believe he has like huge potential to be the champion.
Okay, that makes sense. So I believe if there was a cross promotion, but I'm gonna quote Nima here when I spoke to him. It's like Marvel and it's like Marvel and DC. It will probably never happen. But I think yeah, Musasi could really give problems to Izzy. And I always like to say, you know, I'm always battling with these casuals that say Izzy's better, Izzy's better. I never said Izzy's bad, but as I said, if you watch how Musasi fights, and you know, you've seen it. His grappling is just so good, and it's crazy. I mean,
He might have. I think he probably has the best grappling in middleweight. Like he has the best. I can't really think of someone that has better grappling than him right now. Like in my mind, like I don't think so. And that's like kind of like going back to the Bellator. Like Bellator, first say you want, but then there's Bellator too. Like in Bellator, I respect them too, like because they also trying to like, it's like it just takes time. It's like politics involved. Like it's like, and it's like the way that people watch, you know, like things that people are used to, but like things are starting to change a little bit. And Bellator like sees that, like they like going for it. And like, you know, they have some guys that like actual champions that have potential to be champions in the UFC, which is like AJ McKee. I think he's a guy that could have like he could, you know, I don't know if he could be the champion because that division is it's so wild. Like there's so many people that like could be the champion, you know. But like middleweight, for example, Musasi, I also think he could be the champion too. Like he could be a guy that was like fighting for the title, like, you know, at least top 3, you know.
it's very it's sad that he left the UFC because he was this close to fighting for the title, and I'm pretty sure. Look, Michael Bisping fought GSP. We could all look, he made a nice payday, but I'm pretty sure Michael Bisping, I mean, I love Bisping for what he brings as a commentator, but I'm pretty sure Bisping is kind of thankful did not have to fight Gegard, because that would have been a very, very brutal fight for anyone in that time.
That's not a good matchup for him. Like Bisping, he doesn't have like that like sharp, like he has a good striking. He can keep up the whole fight kind of. So he has that, but like he doesn't have that really like sharp striking put like Musasi out, you know. But like, so if you have that, like, which you would like, that would be the challenge against Adesanya. Adesanya can actually like put him out, and like he knows that he's gonna come like for takedowns too. So like he knows that that's what he got. Like he needs to put that guy out. Otherwise, he's just gonna keep like grinding him the whole fucking fight.
And Bellator too, as you said, it takes time. The way I look at when these new promotions come up, it's like politics, but it's also like planting a tree. It's like planting a garden. You got to wait for the garden. So the fighters are basically the vegetables and the plants. You got to wait for the garden to really to really grow after a few years. And yeah, Bellator's getting up there too. I mean, shout out to another middleweight contender coming up, Costello Van Stennis, who trains with Musasi. And so, yeah. So yeah, as I was saying, I mean, this is, I'm gonna have to really write a report to Zoom to be like, hey, what's going on here? Victor, where can people connect with you if they want to, you know, follow your journey?
They can come to Instagram, Victor Silverio. That's what I'm, you know, trying to keep people posted about what's happening in my life as much as I want. Like, you know, I feel like I'm a private guy, so I show only what I want to show. There's a lot of things that I don't care to show, you know.
No, you don't.
And especially right now, I have a fight coming up, so I don't want this guy to be watching what I'm doing.
Perfect. But we got to keep it.
Yeah.
Anyways, man, I really have to thank you for taking the time. It's such an honor to have you on. Anytime I get a pro fighter, it's a big deal to me, especially whether they're doing their second fight, their first fight, their third fight, or their 40th fight. it's just like watching them grow. As you said, it's like it's like a tree, you know, you're growing your roots. So keep up the amazing work.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me here.
No problem. And make sure to hit the like, share, subscribe button to the Drewsperience if you like combat sports, people.